If you're a founder, business owner, or operator, and you're trying to figure out how to use AI in your business, or you're wondering why the AI you're using doesn't work and why all those tips and tricks you find online don't fit for your business, this episode is for you. Because by the end of this, you'll learn how to run a leaner, more profitable business, whether you use AI or not. The third lesson I'm going to show you is something that you can do today to save time, make more money without hiring anybody. So back in 2022, I worked full-time for the government while running 2 juice bar locations. It got messy, things started to break down, and so I had to tighten up or I was going to go out of business. So I locked in and mastered every part of my business from top to bottom. Now I needed to save my business, so when AI dropped, I didn't need it to tell me what to build. I already had a business. I just used it as a tool to build better and faster. There were no AI consultants back in 2022 when ChatGPT dropped. I just knew my business from top to bottom, and I added AI where I knew or saw that it could be really helpful. Because what I learned is that this business operates on vision and operations that help that vision come to fruition. So AI is just a tool. It's a really good one, and everybody needs to use it, but still, it's just a tool. And the first lesson I learned to clean up a lot of the mess I made with my juice bar is that you gotta be intimate with your business. And what does that mean? It means that you gotta know everything that's going on with your business. What's the things that get it hot and ready? What's the things that make it turn cold and not work well? And those things typically are knowing the numbers, knowing the routines, knowing the customers, knowing how people respond to your business. But really getting into those numbers is a thing that stops a lot of operators from being intimate with their business, because those numbers are a direct reflection of what you do or don't do in your business. So for me, it was really getting acquainted with all the items and inventory that we had. So what I did was I built spreadsheets for all the different types of items. For example, we have fresh produce. This gets ordered 2 to 3 times, maybe 4 times a week, depending on what's going on. And then I had to manage the dry goods and the frozen goods. So the prices there are different. The vendors for that are different. And then I had a master supply inventory sheet for all of the supplies, the bottles, the cups, the lids, the dry goods, the kitchen supplies, the cleaning supplies, the equipment, the merch. All of these things need to be tracked so that your operations can run smooth. And once you understand the patterns, the rhythm, the cycles in which you purchase, the price fluctuations, then you can be on point for getting the best prices, especially in an industry like food and beverage where the margins are really thin. So you're trying to squeeze out everything you can. But what's even more important, something that I learned about being intimate with the business, is how do you communicate with this intimacy back and forth between your business and the people that's involved? And that's being able to build processes and SOPs and instructions. So like on this spreadsheet, I actually place the instructions right in it so that when my team takes this sheet, they'll understand how I'm operating. They'll understand how to read the sheet, these drop downs, is how to check for the bottles, the boxes, the types of units, the packs, the sleeves. Those things need to be communicated well so that people understand, right? Success moves at the speed of communication. So you got to get intimate with your business so it can tell you what to do to make sure that it is doing what it needs to do. Now, lesson number 2 is the hardest lesson I ever had to learn in business, and that is to stay lean. Many times in business, the math don't be mathing, and you got to do some things you don't want to have to do. But a lot of times you'll see addition through subtraction. For me, the reason why I was so tough is because I had to let go one of my stores. Not only that, I had to let go half of my staff, people I had relationships with, including one of my best friends who was my manager. That impacted our relationship because we no longer have a relationship. But I was committed to my business. I had to figure out what it was, and they were invited to take the ride with me, but they weren't committed to the vision, and they weren't skilled or willing to understand the operations. I didn't know all of the operations, but I had to do what I had to do. And so I had to cut a lot of the fat. You got to trim the fat for multiple reasons. A lot of times it's because it makes you slow. It's just like the human body. When you got excess weight, you move slow. It's harder to maneuver, and the rest of the world just doesn't operate the same for you. Right now, you might be thinking, oh, I need this AI tool. I got to pay for this next tier so I can get this next feature. Or even worse, you might be thinking, I need some more business funding. I need a grant. I need a loan. If you can't work with what you got now, it's not going to get easier just because you got new money to throw at a problem. You can't buy your way out of a business problem that you don't understand. And you better understand problems by eliminating a lot of things first and only adding back in what is absolutely necessary. So my recommendation for staying lean is, before you decide to go add something, figure out what you can eliminate first. Or you absolutely have to map out the return on investment for whatever you add. Like, you literally got to quantify How much time does this save me? How much money does this make me? What opportunity does this create? How does this help my customers? Lesson number 3, this lesson right here you can start with right now, is that understanding that AI is an employee. So just like any other employee, you have to equip them with rules and tools. That's what I like to call it, right? Rules and tools. You got to give them what the rules are. Set the standards. Give the correct context. Give it SOPs and directions. That's why one of the most beautiful things that happen with AI is having skill files, like Claude introduced Claude skills. Now you have a set of rules or instructions to always operate against, right? You want to have those for all of your employees. AI as an employee, that's how you should move with that. One of the ways that I employed AI for me early on before there were Claude skills was for writing and marketing assets. So I created an email marketing campaign for my juice bar. We had juice cleansers twice a year. So this right here is the actual prompt that I put in ChatGPT. Now this was right around the time or prior to them having memory. So I had to give it all of the context. I had to give it all of the rules and basically all of the tools. So what I did was I told it exactly what we were working on an email campaign, 14 emails starting today through January 17th. And then I gave it some more details and when the orders got to be placed and all of those things. And then we started building. And you can see it here. It's ready to assist me with the email campaign for the New Year Juice Cleanse event. And then I gave it all of the context, all of the details. These are all of the juices. These are the ginger shots. These are the most popular things here. This is how you could use AI right now to write email campaigns. If you don't use email in your business, then you should start. Write newsletters, write email promotions. Just stay in touch. Stay in touch with your customers and your clientele or your audience. People, if they opt into something that you have or they purchase something from you, they don't mind hearing from you. So this helped me sell more juice cleansers than I've ever sold in 3 years of selling juice cleansers over the counter, like directly out of the store. So storefront purchases, walk-ins, or even running ads. This campaign helped me sell more than I ever did. We ended up being able to sell $45,000 in sales via email. So I used MailChimp. This was my marketing dashboard from the juice bar. And that wasn't 45,000 from just this one campaign, but using AI helped me with these email marketing campaigns. So while I was at the juice bar, behind the counter, running payroll, doing inventory, making juices or doing smoothie bowls, these emails were going out and my little email was firing with people picking up 5-day juice cleanses, 1-day juice cleanses, hats, socks, little things like that, right? So that helped me make money. So right now you can go and ask, think about what it is that you would like to market through your email marketing and then hand that off to AI, give it the right context, give it all the good details, and that can help you right now. So that's lesson number 3, treat AI as an employee. You have to equip it with all the right rules and tools. So I was able to make over $100,000 more in my business just by learning and implementing these 3 lessons. So let me show you some figures real quick. This is all actual factual. This is the first point of sale system I had in 2021. So here it is from January through December 21. Total gross receipts, $115,000. You can see here. And then this is my new point of sale system after I shut down the first business and focused on the second location, and $282,000. That is over $100,000 more in revenue. And if you're up to 1 o'clock in the morning trying to figure out how to automate some tool in your business, how to connect them, if you're staying up late to manually send off emails, to calculate your payroll, then this series is going to be for you, because I want to see you get that 10 to 20 hours back away from doing all of the busy work that keeps you away from being the best you can possibly be in your business. So subscribe right now so you can catch every episode of this Lean Operator series. And if you want to get started right now so you can get a better understanding of what tools work where and how in your business, then click the first link in the description. You can access the Lean Operator Toolkit for free, no charge. These are all of the tools that I use in my business. Some trickle down from my previous juice bar. Some I use now because AI is a lot more powerful and it helps me make more money and cuts down all of the busy work. So click the first link in the description, get the Lean Operator Toolkit. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up, drop me a comment, give me feedback, send me questions, and I'll catch you in the next one.